Jaguars. Last night, the Gators men's basketball team captured another home victory, this time defeating Dartmouth 94-72. Alex Condon was the Gators' top scorer, finishing the night with 17 points, 9 boards, and 2 assists. The Magic dropped their game versus the Toronto Raptors 107-106 last night as they fall to 18-15 on the season. It's 51 degrees at 4 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Frank, Hayes, and JJ. Hit it! It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us on the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week, and JJ LaSelva has the day off, so it is a skeleton crew. But we've got Hacker, we've got RJ Saunders, and we will persevere. I am Hayes Carline. Good to see you. Boy, we got lots to get to. Obviously, yesterday had a fantastic time at Strings. Really appreciate all the great fans that came up and talked to us and blitz the bank. I think this fan base is ready to do it. If you don't have plans to be at that stadium Sunday, adjust quickly if you can, because this is one that you're going to want to remember for a long time.
Yeah, I think you said it best yesterday. It's going to be more than a football game. It's going to be an experience. I mean, 25 years is a long time, and this is only the third opportunity the Jaguars have had to win the AFC South in the 25-year century that has been the 2000s. So it is going to be quite the scene, and of all teams, you're playing the absolutely hated Tennessee Titans. And look, you know, we didn't talk much about this aspect of it yesterday, but it's worth mentioning. You want to talk about Tennessee being the ultimate spoiler here. They would love nothing more. I mean, that young football team.
It's exactly what they need.
They don't know any better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're still playing. You know, you look at teams like the Jets who have given up.
Right.
And Aaron Glenn might be one and done, by the way.
Yep.
Raiders, same thing. Pete Carroll might be one and done. The one thing you'll say about the Titans, they haven't rolled over and died. They're 2-2 in their last 4. The offense is playing better. So if you're Jacksonville, you should win the game. But you better come out and play, because this Tennessee team has shown improvement over the last month.
Well, and we've seen what kind of a leader Cam Ward can be as a rookie for the Titans. And obviously we saw it up close last year when he was magnificent for the Miami Hurricanes. This would be the path for Tennessee to go into the offseason with some momentum, with some hope and optimism. It would probably make the job pop a little bit more to candidates that are going to have multiple opportunities in this cycle, because it would be a big notch on Cam Ward's belt. So I think it would show that, you know, if you're a coach looking at that job, well, maybe I've got the quarterback I need. And because you got to think they're going to have to score. It's going to have to be the formula that Tennessee has had over this last month, where they win a game 28-27, because to your point, you brought this up yesterday and you're dead on. I mean, they're terrible defensively. I mean, they're not awful against the run per se. They're not great. They're sort of average when it comes to stopping the run. Tennessee's 17th in the league, so, you know, right about average. But it's stopping the passing game that they just have no chance. I mean, again, opposing quarterbacks this season are completing 68.5% of their throws against the Titans, 27 passing touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and opposing quarterbacks facing the Titans have a passer rating of 106.8. That would rank 4th in the league if you applied it to a singular player.
You know, and you brought that up yesterday, and it piqued my interest. So I went and watched the YouTube. They do the game highlights for all the games. So I went and watched the Saints-Titans from last week. And the Saints wide receivers were just running wide open. So I got on the phone today, and I called a couple of my buddies that are in the Nashville media, and I said, all right, tell me about the Titans secondary. Well, they said, here's all you need to know. The top 6 corners that they had in training camp, top 6.
That's incredible.
Have either been traded or on IR right now.
That's amazing.
Their starting cornerbacks on Sunday will be cornerbacks 7 and 8 from training camp. Safety-wise, Amani Hooker is still playing, but they're saying he's playing terrible. The other 4 safeties that were in their top 5 safety rotation are all gone. So you have Amani Hooker and safety number 6, and you have corners 7 and 8 are the starting secondary Tennessee's going to bring in here on Sunday.
It really appears to be a gigantic mismatch, in terms of that, and particularly with the way the Jaguars are throwing the ball around with Trevor Lawrence and these receivers, Brenton Strange, ETN as well. So the Jaguars can hurt you in a lot of ways through the air. We'll get into this matchup as we continue today and throughout the week. We'll have a show tomorrow, a Frangie show tomorrow. We will not have a show Thursday, and then we'll be back on Friday to wrap up the week. But we've got lots to get to today. This is going to be an up-tempo version of the Frangie show because, you got to get into Stephon Diggs. What a story there that could disrupt New England's run at this thing. And obviously, that could benefit the Jaguars. Obviously, yesterday at Strings, that was going to be all Jaguars, and we enjoyed breaking down every element of that win over the Colts and looking towards the tournament. But I do want to get your thoughts on Sumrall. It's been about a month now that he's been on the job. Lots of comings and goings for Florida in the portal. I want to get your thoughts on Kyle Whittingham going to Michigan. That was really interesting. Obviously, just terrible news today in terms of Fred Taylor and the finalists for the Hall of Fame coming out. Fred Taylor not being among them. We'll certainly get to that. So we've got a lot to get to. We'll talk some Florida basketball, and we'll touch on Florida State as well. There's a big birthday in golf today that maybe we'll mention as well at some point. And RJ Saunders, I apologize. You texted me this yesterday, and I forgot to get to it. But we've talked about what a big game it's going to be Sunday. What a moment. What an event to say that you were at. Leon Searcy is doing the first Duval? That is going to magnificent. Be exciting, how about that?
That's going to be exciting.
That is fantastic.
He went
RJ
viral.
Texted me yesterday, and I just, we got so busy talking to people, I forgot to mention it.
Well, remember, Leon went viral 3 years ago with the fact that he hated the Titans before that AFC South championship game. So it does make sense that Leon is going to do it. And Leon will have a big Sunday.
And then fifth quarter, he'll be on with you.
Yeah, Leon's going to be getting everybody fired up at Everbank Stadium. Then he'll be with me and Gerald Ingram on the fifth quarter, hopefully Sunday night, celebrating an AFC South championship. And the interesting thing about the fifth quarter is I don't even think when we start that show at 6 o'clock if we're going to have clarity on who the wild card opponent is for the Jaguars.
That's a good point.
Because at 4:25, the Broncos are going to be playing. The Patriots are going to be playing. Now, we're going to find out during the fifth quarter who the Jaguars' opponent is, which will be cool. But I don't think we'll know when that show starts necessarily who is going to play. The one thing I will say about that, Hayes, I've had people asking me, all right, give me the simplest explanation of the three wild cards. If Jacksonville beats Tennessee, Jacksonville's the 3 seed, assuming Denver and New England win, who are they going to play? Well, the simplest answer is this. If the Houston Texans beat Riley Leonard and the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars will not be playing Houston because Houston will be the 5 because they have head-to-heads against Buffalo and the Chargers. So assuming Houston beats Riley Leonard.
And there is no chance the Texans lose to the Colts.
Right.
There is no chance. Assuming Houston remotely plays, they could play a C- level game. And they're going to be – I don't know that the Colts are going to block Anderson or Hunter all game long.
Well, that's the only caveat I said, and I don't even know if this would happen, is if Jacksonville jumps on top of Tennessee 21-0 and Houston just says, all right, well, the division's over, we'll pull the starters. But even so, Houston is playing for seeding. You'd rather be the 5 than the 6 or the 7. So if Houston wins, they're the 5. So I'd take Houston out of the equation. If Buffalo and the Chargers both lose, the Chargers come here. If Buffalo wins and the Chargers lose, Buffalo comes here. That is basically the most simple way you can explain it of who Jacksonville would play if they're the 3 seed. My money is on Buffalo because they are playing just an awful New York Jets team. Even if Buffalo rests their starters, you would think the backups in Buffalo would beat whatever that is with the Jets right now.
Stephon Diggs, the Patriots receiver, who's really had a nice year for them in a cast of a receiving core that doesn't have a lot of star power to it. Stephon Diggs, some serious charges today, strangulation, things like that. I don't know how the league is going to view this, how the Patriots are going to view this in terms of a discipline, but let's just say, hypothetically, Stephon Diggs, that this case is serious enough that he can't play until it's resolved, how much does that change New England, in your opinion? Because I don't think they have. I mean, I think their weapons are already shaky, and now you're taking away, I think, probably their best guy.
And Mac Hollins is already on IR,
right.
So you would have already lost him, which they have. If you lose Diggs, here's the thing. All right, innocent until proven guilty, obviously, but the NFL's in a tough spot here because this is a pretty serious accusation. And now Stephon Diggs, apparently he's already come out and said, this is bogus, I'm innocent, But if you're the NFL, I mean, here's one of your star players that's getting ready for the playoffs. He's getting accused of strangulation here. I mean, this is not, jaywalking. This is a serious deal. It puts the NFL in a tough spot, and I don't know how you let him play, until something is resolved. We'll find out, I would imagine, in the next 48 hours. We might get some clarity on their thought process if they let him play in Week 18. But, yeah, the Patriots, this is a headache that they absolutely did not want or need right now.
Without a doubt. Well said. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's shift to college football. I want to talk to Hacker about John Sumrall's been on the job for about a month now. What does he think about the new Gators coach? And what about this Florida roster? Lots of guys leaving, some guys that are staying. We'll get Hacker's thoughts on that. We'll also touch on Kyle Whittingham getting the Michigan job. What a fantastic saga that whole thing was. But I think the Wolverines ended up in a really good spot. All that coming up. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
A great season often depends on keeping your best players on the field.
Let me know if he's ever going to play football again, or do I need to find me another wide receiver?
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville.
Come on, you can't play without me.
On 1010XL.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
It's January in Jacksonville, so you turn on the shower knob expecting hot water. Comes up cold. That's a tough loss to start the day, but Duck Duck Rooter is here to turn things around with the new year, new water heater promotion. Duck Duck Rooter makes replacing that old water heater a winning play. Right now, get a new water heater installed for just $14.99 on select models with standard installation. Call now to schedule your free estimate and take the cold shower off the scoreboard. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
as soon as possible
at 641-1010.
Blitz.
How good is that? How good is that?
Bang.
How good is that?
Text Blitz to 641-1010 now.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi are on a mission to sell 2,000 vehicles this December. I've instructed my team to take every reasonable offer. We won't lose your business over price. Thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to move. Get year-end savings, top dollar for your trade, and the easiest car buying experience ever. But hurry, these deals end when we hit 2,000, and we ain't leaving nothing on the table. Make it a December to remember only at Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi.
Your time matters, so why waste it sitting in a dealership for a basic oil change? At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, you're in and out in 15 minutes. No appointment needed, and you never leave your car. Rated 4.7 stars nationwide and #1 quick lube in America by Forbes, the experts at Valvoline will have you on your way quickly. And FYI, your warranty can't be affected by having Valvoline work on it. That's the law, no matter what other places may insinuate. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, easy, done.
Hey,
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. And now that Christmas is over, it's time to treat your truck. Head to Leonard Truck Outfitters, where you can turn that Christmas cash or gift cards into the perfect truck upgrade. Whatever your truck needs, Leonard has it. If Santa didn't quite get it, go fix it at Leonard Truck Outfitters. Or maybe you did get exactly what you wanted, and now it's time to add even more. 2 locations, Landing and Beach Boulevard. Leonard Truck Outfitters, built for the way you work, play, and drive.
Hey guys, if you messed up by getting her a robot vacuum cleaner for Christmas, Beard's Diamonds can get you out of the doghouse. Now through New Year's weekend, you can still get that stunning piece of jewelry and save up to 44%. Everything's included: rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, all the gifts women love every day of the year. But hurry, this amazingly popular offer ends January 3rd at 5 p.m. and will not be extended. And if you're planning that New Year's weekend proposal, we've got you covered with a great selection of ready-to-wear diamond rings starting as low as $795. It's been a fantastic year at Beard's, and we're so grateful for your business and your trust. In a sea of mega corporate chain jewelers, we're honored to be the only one that's locally owned in the town center. We are proud to be a part of this amazing community, and you can count on us again in 2026 to deliver the highest quality jewelry at the guaranteed best value, with the service and attention you can only get from an independent jeweler that's been around nearly 45 years. Happy New Year from Beard's Diamonds.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
RJ Saunders always plays my favorite stuff. Have you ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Long time ago.
Okay. Well, this is the Cars, by the way, moving in stereo, and this is the song that is playing when lovely Phoebe Cates comes out of the pool, and that will be the last memory when the dementia has riddled this brain. The Phoebe Cates memory will still be in there.
You're going down with
We'll
Phoebe?
still be in there.
Yeah, I can see that. That is one scene from that movie that I happen to remember, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank's a big fan of that scene as well. He is on vacation this week. JJ LaSelva off today, but we've got Hacker, we've got RJ Saunders, and I'm Hayes Carline. Let's get to the Florida Gators, Hacker. John Summerall now has been on the job for about a month. Obviously, lots of work still to do. He hasn't even gotten a chance to start adding players in the portal. So far, it's been retaining and then seeing who is leaving. But how would you assess just Summerall in general? What'd you think of his staff? And take us through the portal comings and goings that either have you concerned or the players that are staying that have you fired up.
The first thing is it's still weird to me, even though I understand the NIL era and where we are, when you see player X has re-signed with a school. It's like, what are we doing? I mean, if that's so bad. If that sentence would have been spoken 5-6 years ago, do what? But now it's just common nature that, like
it would have been cheating.
Right, cheating. Yeah, Tramel Jones today re-signed with the University of Florida.
That's big news.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. Look, I like John Summerall. The introductory press conference I thought was a home run for him. The jab, it wasn't even really a jab, but the mentioning of Lane Kiffin at the start, kind of easing the tension in the room a little bit. I thought Summerall handled that beautifully. Everybody I've talked to that's covered the guy, either at Troy or at Tulane, just raves about him. And everybody I've talked to that covered he and Billy Napier in the state of Louisiana keeps saying over and over that John Summerall is not Billy Napier, which I think is important for Gator fans to remember. As far as the staff goes, I mean, Buster Faulkner. It stops and starts with him. They got Buster Faulkner. And when I wanted Brent Key, that was my number one guy for Florida to go get. Talking to people that covered Georgia Tech, they said, well, if you want Brent Key, make sure he brings Buster Faulkner with him. Because obviously they thought that Buster Faulkner was a big reason why Haynes King was doing his thing and why Georgia Tech at one point was in the top 10. So getting Buster Faulkner was great. DJ Lagway, I think he needed a new start, and I think Florida needed a new start. Does not bother me in the slightest that he's in the portal. I'll tell you, you and I talked about it off air yesterday. The one Hayes that has bothered me the most probably is Jaden Woods. Jaden Woods.
That's a massive loss.
Massive. And I'm shocked by it because, Florida was getting so much good news about guys that were coming back. And Woods was arguably the most impactful defensive lineman they had. Certainly the most impactful freshman they had on the defense last year. And for him to enter the portal was kind of a gut shot. So
and still has 2 years before he can enter the draft.
Right.
So that's why that one's so tough. It's because it looks like he's going to be 3 years and playing in the NFL. So I thought that was a stunning loss.
And if you're Summerall, if you're Brad White, the new D coordinator, I don't know how that happens. That seems to me like a guy that if you're going to prioritize guys, Jaden Woods would have been a pretty high priority. But we're going to find out a lot about John Summerall in the next week to 10 days because the portal officially opens, January 2nd. Mm-hmm. And that's when you can bring guys in. And I think he is going to attack the portal. I've heard the term portal maniac when it comes to John Summerall. Now, at Tulane, he had to be.
Right.
He doesn't necessarily have to be to that extent at Florida. But I think quarterback, wide receiver, I know Cam Coleman at Auburn, people are connecting the dots there. He just entered the portal. The guy that recruited him and his position coach at Auburn is now at Florida. Is there a connection there? So it's going to get really interesting to see what they do with player acquisition. But other than Jaden Woods, I haven't really been either that surprised or that upset by anybody that's entered the portal.
I would agree. I don't think they had lost anybody of great significance until they lost Jaden Woods. And again, some Florida insiders believe that that's not a money thing. That's just, he just wants to get closer to home. He's from Kansas. And look, the other thing too is we talk about ring chasing all the time in NFL free agency. If Jaden Woods wants to win a national championship and he's got 2 more seasons to do it before he goes into the NFL draft, well, Florida's probably not the spot for you.
Right.
I mean, certainly not next year. I mean, Florida's not winning the national title next year. A good season for Florida next year would be like to get into the playoffs and lose the first game. Like that would be an outstanding first season for John Summerall. It's hard to expect much beyond that. And so, if you're Jaden Woods, you're probably looking at it like, well, next year we'll be lucky just to make the playoff, and then I've got 1 more year. So, who knows if that had more to do with homesickness or, wanting to win at the highest level possible. The money is going to be the same for Jaden Woods. I can't imagine Florida got outbid or will get outbid for Jaden Woods. To me, you don't let a player like that walk out of your building over money. Now, if he wants to leave, again, for family reasons, closer to home, chance to win, all right, then it's tough. If it's tough where Florida is right now to probably sell that in terms of winning a national title, particularly next year. But I'm with you. I mean, Tramel Jones staying is huge for Florida. I think he could really be good. You saw him way more than I saw him in terms of when he was here in high school. But all I've seen is Long Island, which obviously is basically a 13th grade team. I mean, they're not even, I'd say, a reputable D2 squad.
They threw him to the Wolves in Lexington on a Saturday night when they were down 30 already.
Correct.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, hard to judge anything off of that. But I was excited that Tramel Jones is coming back to hopefully work in a competition with Aaron Philo, who you hope is going to follow Faulkner to Florida, the Georgia Tech quarterback that's been backing up Haynes King the last couple of years, but when he's played really well. So, I think Baugh is still really the big one. I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything definitively about Jaden Baugh. They've made a lot about the meeting with Summerall and Faulkner and some other, the new running backs coach going up there. I want to say on Christmas Eve is when that meeting took place. So about a week ago now. And I'm a little surprised we haven't heard one way or another. It would actually... Usually that would tell you he's leaving more than it would tell you he is staying. Do you have a read on Jaden Baugh?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's taking this long. Again, obviously he is the number 1 priority. That won't be a money issue either. They're going to give Jaden Baugh whatever he wants. The question is, does Jaden Baugh want Florida? Because he can go anywhere. Dallas Wilson's another one that you're waiting on. And look, I get that this is the land that we're in and the players deserve to be compensated. But I do hate this aspect of it. I mean, there was a day in college football where you sign a kid out of high school and the kid was there for 4 years or minimum 3 years. And now it's, you got to retain 80 guys every year on your roster. I mean, it is crazy that we're getting reports every day from Florida and other schools. This player's staying, this player's coming back, this player's leaving. It's just a nonstop deal. I mean, there are going to be thousands of players in the portal come January 2nd, and it's wild that it has gotten to this extent. I don't know if this is what people envisioned 5 years ago when you opened up the NIL situation in college, but it's certainly where we have landed.
It's a complete mess, and it really doesn't have an easy fix, because the only way to fix it would be to collectively bargain between the schools and the players. Well, they'd have to unionize. That's going to take years legally, with everything that would entail that to happen. I mean, you're talking about if they started today, I bet you it would take a minimum of 3 years before the system was online, and I could be selling that short. But until they have that, and the only way they're going to get that is because the players aren't going to agree to it. The system's perfect for the players now. Totally perfect. I don't have to sign a contract. Everything's a 1-year deal. I get free agency every year. And it really, while there is a cap on the revenue share, the NIL component of the supplemental money that is out there is uncapped. So, I mean, I can go out to the highest bidder, and unlike an NFL free agent where there's only 31 other clubs that might have an interest in me, there's 130 Division I clubs. Now, there's probably like 50 that have legit money that are willing to spend millions on their football roster without blinking an eye. But still, I mean, you can go as a player and really take advantage financially of the current collegiate system. So why would you collectively bargain? The only way you would do that is if the schools then said, all right, well, instead of the revenue sharing being $20 million, we're going to make it $50 million. And I mean, so, and the odds that the schools are going to be willing to throw out $30 more million that comes out of their books, because right now the fans are paying for a lot of this, you know, and so it's a total mess. And you know, I do wonder, as college football becomes more NFL oriented, will it become a thing? Florida, and we'll take Florida for instance. Florida's fans have been incredible. I mean, they have sold out the Swamp 18 straight games, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, when you consider how poor the Napier era was, really is a testament to the Florida fan base. But if it becomes a system where your team changes over every year for the most part, you don't really, as a fan, ever get to like grow with the player, then if you get off to a start of like 2-3, 3-2, do you start to see like the apathy that sets in NFL markets when teams aren't doing well, and they just say, well, I'm not going. You know, I have no attachment to this group. I have attachment to my university, you know, and I love being a Gator, but I don't have an attachment to these guys. They're all, you know, they arrived. They're obviously, we've overpaid. You know, we didn't get the results we were hoping for. Why would I keep going? So I think the sport has a massive fan problem coming that hasn't hit yet, but as fans get more and more bothered by the process, and as it becomes more of an NFL product, it does make me wonder if you're going to see it affect the passion that college football fans have, a passion because of how closely tied many of them are to the school they root for, that doesn't exist, I'd say, on as big a level in NFL markets. I'm not saying NFL fans don't have diehard fans. They absolutely do. But there's an element I think most people would agree with to college football from a passion standpoint that does not exist in the NFL to that level. But I think that gap is going to close because of this system.
Well, in college football, I mean, you know, you got thousands and thousands of alumni that support your school. Or in my situation, I was just handed a Gator hat at 6 months old and said, you're going to be a Florida Gator fan. I was taken to the Swamp at 7 and just put in the south end zone for the next 25 years, going to Gator football every Saturday. So there is a connection there. There is a passion there. It's just crazy that the player retainment, player acquisition has gotten to where it has gotten to. And I'll tell you what I don't like, and it's the timing issue we always talk about. And they're going to correct some of it, and they've already started doing it. but we're in the midst of the college football playoff quarterfinals. I mean, the quarterfinals of the playoff are tomorrow night.
Totally overshadowed.
Between Miami and Ohio State, and then obviously you got the other games on January 1st. It's all about getting to the playoff, right? Getting to the playoff. Well, we're here. The playoff is tomorrow.
And where's the buzz?
And if you're not a Miami fan, or if you're not an Ohio State fan, and you're driving down Southside Boulevard right now, am I breaking news to you that Miami and Ohio State play tomorrow night? Odds are I just broke news to somebody that had no idea that game is tomorrow night, because it's all about the transfer portal opening up and this, that, and the other. So, again, everything's just jammed like sardines into this little time frame, and I don't know what can be done about it, but something has to be done to space this stuff out.
Yeah, without a doubt. What did you think, real quick, on Michigan hiring Kyle Whittingham from, well, he was at Utah, but they retired, kind of shipped him out, and now he is coaching the Michigan Wolverines?
I think that Michigan fell into a fantastic position. I'm sorry. If I'm given the option of Sharon Moore or Kyle Whittingham leading my school, now Whittingham's 66 years old. He's obviously not going to be a long-term answer, but that's a no-brainer. I mean, that is a no-brainer. So Michigan took a horrid situation, which is still bad, obviously. I mean, there's legalities and everything going on with what is being accused. But if you're just talking about from a football standpoint, who's coaching the football team, Kyle Whittingham, to me, is a home run for Michigan.
Absolutely. I think it makes Michigan legitimately like a team you got to keep an eye on next year, because they'll spend. And a guy like Whittingham now with those resources and his knowledge, I mean, I bet you Michigan's roster is going to be, I don't know if it'll be like top 5 elite in the country, but I bet you it'll be like top 15. And I would not be the least bit surprised if Whittingham got Michigan into the playoffs year one.
Could be a Kurt Cignetti situation, but Whittingham obviously a lot more accomplished than Cignetti was when he arrived to the Big Ten. So I really like, I mean, the coaching carousel is winding down now. I think the big schools all did very well for themselves. Whittingham at Michigan, you got to love Matt Campbell at Penn State. You know, we hate to say it here locally, but probably Lane at LSU is going to be huge.
A+,
James Franklin at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
It's great for them.
Absolutely.
And again, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid or the Gatorade, I guess, but I do like John Summerall at Florida.
I do too. I'm excited about him. I wasn't happy at all with how the hiring process went on Florida's side of it. But to see what Summerall has done in the months since he's been hired, building that staff, how well he went out at Tulane, very impressive stuff. So I'm very excited about what Florida football will be under John Summerall. When we come back, we are going to get it back to the Jaguars, but not a fun topic. Fred Taylor left out of the Hall of Fame finalists that were announced today after he's been a finalist on multiple occasions. So 15 players will move on. Fred Taylor, not one of them. We will discuss that next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
What Major League Baseball player has the most stolen bases in his career?
Just letting your homeowner's insurance renew each year may cost you money. Shop around and you may find a better plan. Let Southern Oak Insurance give you an option at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Oakland A's outfielder Ricky Henderson stole 1,406 bases during his career, including 130 in 1982.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. Now, I've been telling you about my daughter Amber, and she's been telling you how much weight she's dropped with Awaken 180. It's hard to believe. Even in football season, even when she hangs out with her friends, and even when she tailgates and does all that stuff, she's still losing weight. You can even drink alcohol. Can you believe that? Well, Awaken 180 shows you how to swap calories, not flavor. You have to be disciplined, but they make it easy. Amber and I talk about this all the time. She can't believe how easy it is, and she's so excited about it. But what I will tell you is it's really working. I see how excited she is. I see the look on her face. I see how her self-esteem has changed and her confidence. It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened with my daughter, and it means that much to me. Now, Awaken 180 programs are reimbursable with your HSA or FSA, and those HSA dollars expire December 31st. Don't leave money on the table. Call Awaken 180 today and kickstart your transformation before the new year. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari, at Bari Orthopedics.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Coach Campo here, and I just want to tell you about the best pizza I've had right here in Duval, and that's Tony D's Pizza. Tony works hard to make every slice perfect. If you love pizza like I do, you need to go to Tony D's, Bay Meadows and 295.
Frank Frangie for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember when the Jaguars upset the Denver Broncos in the 1996 divisional round as a 14-point underdog and launched them into the AFC Championship? Well, you know who won't upset you? The team at Coil Fencing. Coil is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and has been serving the Jacksonville community for nearly 100 years. From sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love to tough chain link for your commercial project, Coil does it all. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's COILE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Nimnicht. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week. JJ LaSelva off today, but we've got Hacker, we've got RJ Saunders. I'm Hayes Carline. We're just getting warmed up. Really surprising news, I'd say today. Disappointing news for sure. Fred Taylor not a finalist for the NFL Hall of Fame this year. Professional Football Hall of Fame. It's a great first-year group of players, but I was really surprised that Fred Taylor's momentum has taken this kind of a setback in this process.
I was perturbed, aggravated, whatever other verbiage you want to use. It's ridiculous that Fred Taylor is not a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Frank Gore is the running back that's in, and Frank Gore is a great player. That's a career achievement award because Frank Gore played 17 years, whatever it was, in the National Football League, way more than Fred Taylor. So if you want to reward longevity, I guess, you look at some of the other, 3 or 4 offensive linemen that got in the finalist room over Fred Taylor. Again, preposterous. I'll tell you this. I don't know if Fred will care if they'll use it, but if Liam Cohen wants continued added motivation to the small market and nobody respects us, Fred Taylor absolutely is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, was a finalist the last 2 years. He doesn't even make it back in the finalist room this year. Again, that's laughable. That the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting committee or whoever does that should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. That is disgusting.
I was worried that something like this could happen after last year because remember they like tweaked the way that they select it, and so like all of a sudden like guys like Eli Manning didn't get in last year, like Terrell Suggs didn't get in last year, like Luke Kuechly didn't get in last year. Guys with very worthy resumes to have gotten in as first ballot guys, and so you looked at it and you were like, well, boy, that creates a logjam moving forward. And then you see this first-year group come aboard: Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, at the top of the class, along with Witten, and there's a fourth. There's a
Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, and Jason Witten.
Yeah, and so I think it's kind of a combination of the guys that didn't get in last year that probably should have. Because they didn't even induct the full class last year.
No, only 4 got in, I believe.
Yeah, so it was very strange how they adjusted it, and I don't follow it closely enough, in terms of if they readjusted, but I don't believe they did, and so yeah, it's really disappointing because Fred Taylor's resume speaks for itself. Pete Prisco's been obviously one of his biggest advocates for a long time now, and constantly brings it up. There's only 3 people in league history that have that amount of carries that have averaged, 4.6 yards a pop, and the other 2 are in.
This is going to sound really bad, and my intention is it not to sound bad, but I know it is. Like, if you're any NFL general manager, even Trent Baalke, you take any NFL general manager, and I give you the option of Marshall Yanda in their prime or Fred Taylor, you're going to take Fred Taylor. If I give you the option of Darren Woodson in his prime or Fred Taylor, Darren Woodson's a great safety. Fred Taylor's a better football player.
I take Fred Taylor over Reggie Wayne.
Right. Kevin Williams.
Who's in this list.
Kevin Williams, defensive tackle, Minnesota, was a great player.
Yeah.
He's not Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Fred Taylor, well, actually I am. He should have been in already. I wouldn't have been as upset if he was in the finalist room and got left at the altar again. But to not be one of the 15 finalists and to have Marshall Yanda, Darren Woodson, Kevin Williams, Jahari Evans, Willie Anderson, that's laughable, man. Vinatieri's on the finalist list, probably the best kicker that ever lived. All right, I don't even have a problem with that.
I don't think he should get in.
Well,
not like until he's like when he's 60, sure. But he was great, but I'd have no problem leaving him out for 5 or 6 years.
Again, when you got Marshall Yanda, Jahari Evans, Darren Woodson, and Kevin Williams in the finalist room over a guy like Fred Taylor, that's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was very disappointed to see that. And, hopefully the biggest thing is hopefully they'll induct a full class. That's the biggest thing. And what do you said something about Frank Gore. You don't think Frank Gore shouldn't ever get in or not get in yet?
I think Frank Gore is a terrific football player. But I do think Frank Gore getting in,
he's definitely getting in for the longevity.
Yeah, but he's going to begin as a career achievement.
Correct. That's the thing. Like you have to put Gore in because he's third. I think he's third all time in rushing.
Yeah,
he might even be second.
So Frank Gore played 16 years in the National Football League, which is unbelievable.
Right.
But if you look at his numbers,
Fred's prime was better.
Oh, gosh.
There's no doubt about that.
So Frank Gore, 16 years in the league. Let's take the last take the last 6 years of his career. All right. 967 yards, 1,025, 961, 722, 599, 633. He basically accounted for about 5,000 of his career rushing yards in those final 6 years. But, he was averaging, 3.7, 3.5, 3.4 yards per carry in those years. And look, Frank Gore should be commended for playing that long. And Frank Gore also should be in the pride of the Jaguars
right.
for gaining that first down in December of 2020 when the Jets beat the Rams. I am very pro Frank Gore. But in their prime, Fred Taylor was a better running back than Frank Gore.
Without a doubt. Well said. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to stay on the NFL, get it to around the league. There's some interesting trends that I want to pick Hacker's brain on. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This Sunday, we blitz the bank. All week long, listen for the Blitz the Bank sounder and text the keyword BLITZ for your shot at tickets to see the Jags take down the Titans.
641-1010.
It's a Jags ticket blitz. Let's fill the seats and blitz the bank.
It's an all-out blitz.
All week on 1010XL. Or buy tickets now at jaguars.com/tickets.
Hey guys, if you messed up by getting her a robot vacuum cleaner for Christmas, Beard's Diamonds can get you out of the doghouse. Now through New Year's weekend, you can still get that stunning piece of jewelry and save up to 44%. Everything's included: rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, all the gifts women love every day of the year. But hurry, this amazingly popular offer ends January 3rd at 5 p.m. and will not be extended. And if you're planning that New Year's weekend proposal, we've got you covered with a great selection of ready-to-wear diamond rings starting as low as $795. It's been a fantastic year at Beard's, and we're so grateful for your business and your trust. In a sea of mega corporate chain jewelers, we're honored to be the only one that's locally owned in the town center. We are proud to be a part of this amazing community, and you can count on us again in 2026 to deliver the highest quality jewelry at the guaranteed best value, with the service and attention you can only get from an independent jeweler that's been around nearly 45 years. Happy New Year from Beard's Diamonds.
Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Make Honda of the Avenues your first stop for award-winning customer service and world-class Honda vehicles. Our inventory is larger than ever, which means we have the perfect Honda waiting for you. Plus, at Honda of the Avenues, we always put our customers first, making the car buying experience fun, fast, and easy. You'll always find great deals on our huge selection of new and certified pre-owned Hondas, all prepped and ready for a test drive. Come see just how different car buying can be at Honda of the Avenues today. Stop by or shop from home at HondaoftheAvenues.com. Proud sponsor of Sporting Jags.
In Northeast Florida, power outages are unavoidable, but losing comfort, security, and peace of mind doesn't have to be. With a Generac home standby generator from American Electrical Contractors, your power comes back on automatically the moment an outage begins. As Jacksonville's leading and one of the longest-running Generac dealers, American Electrical Contracting has the experience you deserve. Be prepared. Protect your home and family. Protect your business. Generac standby generators from American Electrical Contractors. Call 737-7770 or online at american-electrical.com.
If you've ever sat in a dealership waiting room, you know the coffee's cold, the magazines are old, and your oil change takes forever. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, it's completely different. No appointment, no waiting room. You stay in your car, and the techs get it done in 15 minutes. That's why Valvoline holds a 4.7 national rating, and Forbes named them #1 quick lube in America for customer service. Don't waste your day at a dealership. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, easy.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Now that Christmas is over, it's time to treat your truck. Head to Leonard Truck Outfitters, where you can turn that Christmas cash or gift cards into the perfect truck upgrade. Whatever your truck needs, Leonard has it. If Santa didn't quite get it, go fix it at Leonard Truck Outfitters. Or maybe you did get exactly what you wanted, and now it's time to add even more. 2 locations, Landing and Beach Boulevard. Leonard Truck Outfitters, built for the way you work, play, and drive.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Showtime is proud to be a participating store again for the Topps MVP buyback. Bring in your eligible 2025 Topps Chrome cards of Ohtani and Judge for same-day store credit. Topps MVP buyback at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnicht Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Everybody wants to rule the world, and the Rams certainly have in years past. But, Hacker, what a tough loss for them last night against an Atlanta team that I thought was going to be pretty well checked out. But Atlanta, to their credit, jumped all over the Rams early. The Rams tried to come back. Wasn't enough. Boy, the Rams, I'm talking about not peaking at the right time. I mean, the Rams, I thought, were the favorite in the NFC. But, boy, they're starting to look, I think, very weak.
Yeah, they're weak in oil right now, and that's a really bad loss for them because now the 5 seed is no longer a certainty. And if you're the 5 in the NFC, that doesn't sound great, but it means you play the winner of Tampa Bay, Carolina. Well, that's now not the case for the Rams. Potentially, they're going to fall to the 6, which means either a trip to Chicago or Philadelphia. So I think of the two, you'd rather go play Tampa or Carolina as opposed to going to either the Link or Soldier Field. So it's a bad loss, and the NFL hates it too because now that Tampa Bay-Carolina game isn't necessarily a win-and-in scenario. If Tampa Bay beats Carolina, Tampa Bay would still get knocked out of the playoffs if the Falcons beat the Saints on Sunday. It's win and you're in for the Panthers. It's not that way for Tampa Bay now because of that Atlanta win last night.
And it seems like for the Rams, Davante Adams is a marvel because he's well into his 30s now, but he's still a dominant player. This season, he's been unstoppable in the red zone. I mean, it's just they get inside the 5 and they just throw a touchdown to Davante Adams. He's missed the last 2.5 games with the hamstring, and Puka Nacua is sensational, obviously, and Stafford still might win the MVP. We'll see. But it feels like without Davante Adams out there, they are a different team. And, it's a hamstring, so you don't know, how healthy will he be in a week. It's hard to believe. We were talking about this before the show started. I mean, we're literally like 10 days away from the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's here. So if you're battling a hamstring issue that's already kept you out for a couple of weeks, no chance, or there is a chance that Davante Adams might not be available for the Rams. So something to keep an eye on. The biggest offseason storyline in the NFL will, I would imagine, be the fate of Joe Burrow. Do you think he stays in Cincinnati, or do you think he puts enough pressure on Bengals ownership to get out of there?
Well, I mean, he made that weird press conference remark about kind of losing his joy for the game a little bit. And maybe that's just the emotions talking. Joe Burrow's been very banged up. The defense has not done them any favors in Cincinnati as well. Boy, it seems like forever ago that they actually made the Super Bowl. I would think Burrow's going to remain in Cincinnati, but I think that division as a whole could be massively changed next year. I mean, Pittsburgh plays Baltimore on Sunday night there in the AFC North. The winner gets in. You got to wonder, the loser of that game is at the end for either Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh or John Harbaugh in Baltimore, because there's been rumblings about both guys that both may not be back next year. The loser of that game, probably the rumblings will continue, at least till we get some clarity on that.
Who do you like in that game?
Where's it at? Is it in Baltimore?
I think so.
If it's in Baltimore, give me the Ravens. The DK Metcalf thing, man, if they miss out on the playoffs because he went over to the sideline and was going to mess around with a fan, and that cost them a playoff spot, that would just be brutal.
It's in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh? Okay. I'll still take Baltimore.
Okay.
I will. I'll take Baltimore. Being in Pittsburgh changes it a little bit for me, but I think Baltimore is playing better football than Pittsburgh is. And look, when you're playing the lowly Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland's terrible. I mean, they're terrible. And you have a shot to win the division, and with the knowledge that if you don't win this game, you have a win-or-go-home scenario against Baltimore next week, and you go out and you lay an egg like Pittsburgh did, I don't know if you get over that in 7 days to be able to turn around and beat a good Ravens team.
Yeah, very good point. What do you think about Max Crosby? You think he's done in Vegas? I mean, he is. Can you imagine him here, by the way?
No.
It's not going to happen. But because obviously it's going to take a treasure trove. But I mean, that's one that could also be really interesting to see what the Raiders elect to do with Max Crosby. They obviously had the big dust up last week where they sent him home. They weren't going to play him the final 2 games of the year. He was livid about it because he's one of the highest motor players in the NFL. So that seems pretty fractured as well. And to your point, if Pete Carroll is one and done and you're totally rebuilding, is Max Crosby a part of that? If you can then go, if you could, I mean, what do you think he'd fetch? 2 1s and 2 2s?
I think that's where the conversation might begin. He's arguably the best defensive end in football, certainly in the top 3 defensive ends in football. And he's been the perfect team guy. Right. He hasn't complained publicly. He's apologized to the fan base for the lack of wins. I mean, what else do you want the guy to do? The guy's begging to be out there to compete for a terrible team. They're shutting him down. So then he goes and makes a video of himself playing basketball in his home gym. The knee looked pretty healthy during that video. Max Crosby, I think, is probably not in Las Vegas next year. I think somebody will make a trade for him. And that goes into the whole one and done thing. And you and I talked about this off the air yesterday. There's a real chance that not only Pete Carroll in Vegas, but Aaron Glenn with the Jets could be one and done. Now, back in the day, one and dones were almost unfathomable in the NFL. Very, very few one and dones. Remember Ray Rhodes in Green Bay was a one and done. Obviously, Urban was, because that was a full-blown disaster.
Right.
Aaron Glenn's a former New York Jet player. Pete Carroll's obviously won a Super Bowl. What is your whole thought on one and done? Because you could have 2 coaches in that situation this offseason.
I would fire them both. I think Aaron Glenn, the Jets still do not have an interception this season.
Yeah.
He's a defensive back. I mean, by trade, he's a defensive back. They do not have an interception this season. The New York Jets. It was a storyline. We talked about it when the Jets were coming here to play the Jaguars a few weeks ago. The Jets have seen 486 passing attempts against them this year. They have not recorded an interception. They have allowed 32 passing touchdowns. I'd fire him. I mean, that's not the only. I mean, it just seems like he has no idea what he's doing. They
look like they've quit too.
They look like they've quit. The other thing too is if I'm an owner and Woody Johnson, he can pay Aaron Glenn buy him out of those 4 years to go do whatever he wants. You're seeing it. Like, why would you wait if you don't have the guy? Like, Aaron Glenn's not the guy. You could give him another year. They're going to be terrible again. He's just not cut out to be a head coach in the league. And, when you're seeing what Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen are doing, why wouldn't you just say this isn't working and go and get the next guy in when you can see the difference that these first-time guys that just have an electricity to them can provide your franchise? And Pete Carroll, I'd fire as well. I mean, he's had obviously an unbelievable career, but you're rebuilding, and he's 118 years old. I mean, I think he's like 73. But I mean, why would you rebuild with a coach that obviously has a very short shelf life in this business? So I'd fire them both, and for kind of different. I don't think Pete Carroll's done a good job either. I mean, he put Chip Kelly in charge of the offense, but then it seems like there was some infighting there with Pete wanting his sons to be invited. Just the whole thing just seems like that needs to be a total restart as well. So it's going to be a wild offseason, but hopefully we will not really be talking in much detail about the offseason until the middle of February.
Yeah, that's the hope. And you look at Carroll and Glenn, 2 defensive guys. Now, Vrabel's a defensive guy who's done well, but you look at the offensive minds, Ben Johnson, right, Liam Cohen, even a little love to Schottenheimer and Kellen Moore. Makes you wonder if owners are going to start seeing that and go back to the young offensive minds to be head coaches.
Without a doubt, it's a great point. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get it back to Sunday's matchup. Jaguars hosting the Titans. Some numbers that we like, some numbers that concern us. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Putting the fence in defense.
The ball comes out! The ball has come out!
Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Kicking here with a game winner, it's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all, and this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
I'm Chris Campione. Veterans have given so much in the service of our country, but when it comes to legal challenges, you shouldn't have to fight alone. At Campione Law, we're here to help veterans like you get the support and compensation you deserve. Whether it's a workplace injury, a personal injury claim, or navigating a veteran's disability claim, we'll stand by your side every step of the way. Your service to our country matters. Let us serve you with the dedication and respect you deserve. Call Campione Law for a free consultation today. Campione Law, fighting for veterans, fighting for justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
You already know it's your main man E to the T here for Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft. And with ball season here, make sure you're on the lookout for my instant reaction before, during, or after the game. All brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts. Come on, somebody.
This is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Tired of your hair falling out? Our hair restoration solutions have helped over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations, and through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest, so everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprowski at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaprowskis are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprowski are the answer. Craig.Kaprowski at Goosehead.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Ready to upgrade your home? It's Renewal by Anderson's 31-day sale. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
There's lots of reasons to use Kuhn flowers when you need to send floral arrangements. This is RJ with 1010XL. No matter what the reason or the occasion, Kuhn Flowers delivers with only the best. Log on to KuhnFlowers.com and make someone's day.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Zero Res. Last night, the Gators men's basketball team captured another home victory, this time defeating Dartmouth 94-72. Alex Condon was the Gators' top scorer, finishing the night with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. The Magic dropped their game versus the Toronto Raptors 107-106 last night as they fell to 18-15 on the season. It's 51 degrees at 5 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Hayes Carlyon here with Hacker and RJ Saunders. Frank on vacation. He'll be back next week. Hacker, let's talk a little bit about Sunday's game. Jaguars-Titans. Obviously, these teams met earlier in the season. The Jaguars had, I'd say, little trouble. It was 25-3. Kind of sloppy for both offenses. The Jaguars had 272 yards of offense that day. The Titans only had 188. So both defenses, I would say, sort of, did the Jaguar defense obviously was sensational. They only gave up a field goal, and it happened on Tennessee's first drive. But as you reflect back on the first meeting, as you peek ahead to this meeting, how these teams are playing, is there anything that is at the top of your list in terms of Tennessee concern-wise?
I think the one thing that jumps out to me, and talking to some people up in Nashville and just my own personal opinions as well, you look at the Titans' offense before their bye week and their production after their bye week. I believe it's an average of 10 points more per game that they're scoring now than they were in the first 2 months. In fact, the Jaguar game was by far and away Cam Ward's worst game since the bye. And since the Jaguar game, I believe the Tennessee Titans have scored at least 24 points. They're 2-2 in those games. I mean, they lost to San Francisco 37-24. They just lost to New Orleans 34-26. It's as we talked about yesterday, and I kind of got verified when talking to some people in Nashville. Their offense is coming around. They like Cam Ward, obviously. The offensive line has actually showed a pulse in recent weeks. There was a time where Ward was back there running for his life. The offensive line has decided to block some people as of late. Tony Pollard's, a nice running back. I believe he's at the 1,000-yard mark or getting near it. And they like those young wide receivers, and Io Manor and Chimdike, the former Gator, who's a Pro Bowler as a punt returner. All that being said, they're 3-13, and one of the main reasons they're 3-13 is their defense is horrible, and primarily their secondary. If Jacksonville is coherent on Sunday, based on the way that Trevor's played with Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington, BTJ, Brenton Strange, ETN, we know all the names, they should feast. I mean feast. A Christmas dinner feast on the Titans secondary, assuming, of course, the Jaguar line can block Jeffrey Simmons.
Exactly. Like you look at Tennessee, and Simmons is interesting because I'm assuming they're going to play him. But, I mean, he's the kind of star that if you're running the Tennessee Titans, you might say, hey, do we really want Jeffrey Simmons out there?
That would be the
game.
Yeah, that would be the owner's. Well, I guess the GM, but I mean that entire staff's going to be blown out.
They're all gone.
So the staff is going to want him to play because what do they care?
Exactly.
I think Jeffrey Simmons is the kind of guy like Max Crosby. If you don't play him, you're going to hear about it in the media. I expect Jeffrey Simmons to play.
I would think he does as well, but it's something to monitor. Sometimes guys that, I mean, again, he's not old, but he's, I think, 28, 29. I think he's 29. You get to be at a certain point in your career, and it's like, look, the last thing I want to do is rehab for 6 months this offseason.
Right.
So, but we'll see. We'll see if Simmons is out there. You have to certainly plan that he is going to be. Some numbers that show up for me that I think are, a little bit of a concern. I guess Pollard's rushing would be a concern. I mean, they have a 1,000-yard back coming in here. But and he's got a healthy 4.5 yard per carry average. He doesn't give them much in the receiving game at all. But the Jaguars lead the NFL in run defense. They only give up 86.1 a game. So that's a concern that quickly gets extinguished for me, because I'd be shocked if it's the Tennessee Titans and Pollard that end up running wild on the Jaguars. So that's something that kind of perks your ears up when you see they got a 1,000-yard back, but I don't see Pollard, being good enough and their run game in general being good enough against what the Jaguars have been this season. Tennessee's leading receiver is tight end Chiga Kwankwo, who is a good athlete, and maybe he will go somewhere else. I think this is the final year of his rookie deal. He's the kind of guy that, like, Chiga Okonkwo needs to get with McVay or get up to, like, Minnesota or get in a totally different offense, because I think there is a talented player there, but he's been pretty much, I mean, he's had very little value in terms of when you look at the tight ends around the league. I mean, I'm not even sure Chigakonkwo, you'd put him in the top 18, tight ends, but he's their leading receiver, 54 catches, 558 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's had some moments of success in his career against the Jaguars, but Chigakonkwo isn't single-handedly beating you.
No. And we talk about Tony Pollard, and that's the reason Tennessee did so well on offense last week. Pollard ran against the Saints. And when you run against the Saints, they had to bring an 8th guy in the box. And when you do that, Cam Ward was able to go downfield. Well, if Pollard can't run against Jacksonville, which I don't think he will, because the Jaguars, like you said, have the best rush defense in the league, it's going to be hard for Cam Ward to be able to beat this defense with very little to no running game. Mentioned this earlier. It is something to at least consider if you're a Jaguar fan. The New York Jets have rolled over and died. The Las Vegas Raiders have rolled over and died. It looks like those teams have quit, which is why people are talking about those coaches being fired. Well, Brian Callahan was already fired like 2 months ago. And interim coach Mike McCoy, who was here for 3 years, has taken over. Say what you will about how awful the Titans are. They have not quit. They are battling. Like I said, they're 2-2 in their last 4. They could have beaten New Orleans last week. They very easily could be 3-1 in their last 4. If there is anything to be concerned about, it's you're playing a team that's full of young guys that want to prove themselves, as opposed to a veteran-laden team that wants to go to Cancun.
And you got to worry about tricks. I mean, they've got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
And to your point, they know they're not coming back to Nashville next year. So all these coaches are moving on. So yeah, we talked about it last week with the Colts. And I think it's something that, again, you have to be mindful of, because if you're Mike McCoy, you're latching on to anything you can to try and get the best effort out of your players for considering the circumstances. Best way to do that is tell them, hey, fellas, here are 5 trick plays that we're putting in this week, and we're going to run these plays. Yeah. It doesn't all, I mean, whether it's a special teams, whether it's some on offense, but yeah, if you're Liam Cohen and his staff, you've got to be ready, because Tennessee, I mean, really, it's hard to see them without stealing possessions. It's hard to see them pulling this upset, because turnover-wise, they can't count on that to save them. The Jaguars are 3rd in the NFL in turnover margin, plus 12. They've got 30 takeaways, which is 2nd in the league. Both these teams are the same in terms of giveaways. They both have 18, so they're both the same in terms of how they protect the football. But the Titans don't take the ball away at all. They have 14 on the season, so they're -4. Jaguars plus 12. So if you're McCoy, you're like, well, we're probably losing the turnover battle. Our best case is that it's probably even, based on the data that we have through the entire regular season except one game. So, yeah, I would think fake a punt. Something like, obviously it helps now that you have to declare a surprise onside kick, so they can't really use that avenue. But yeah, something in the punt game, something, offensively, to whether it is DK trying to utilize his versatility, something to try and give their sideline an early spark.
You throw the kitchen sink at them if you're Tennessee, because like you said, there is no tomorrow for these coaches. Most of these guys will not be back in Nashville. And this is a game, and we say this all the time in games like this, but it's very true. You want to jump on these guys early. You want, like they did in Nashville, jump on these guys early. Don't give Cam Ward and that young Titan team even the thought of pulling an upset. Because if it's a close game, late 3rd, early 4th quarter, all of the pressure is on Jacksonville. There is no pressure on Tennessee. So you want to take care of business early, get a 2-3 possession lead, and at that point, maybe Tennessee won't be very interested in competing.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some Jaguars that we think are going to have big performances on Sunday. We'll do that next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Speed.
45-50.
Talent.
How high can you leap?
Opportunity.
Just when they needed it most.
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game. Experience the universal difference on 1010XL.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
This is Garrett Scantlin, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for any orthopedic issue you have. I'm back to my Olympic training, and I feel great.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk, was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
XL Primetime is back weekdays noon to 2, and on Wednesdays, join Dr. George Bari at 1:20 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Make sure you catch Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:20 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here for Big Chief Tire. Right now, you can get 6-month financing through the CFNA credit card and $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. It's a smart way to handle big vehicle needs like new tires, brakes, or repairs without the upfront cost. With no interest for 6 months, there's never been a better time to schedule. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Did you know that individuals over age 60 have great results on Awaken 180? See how you could drop weight and get off your medications in just 3 months with Awaken 180's Golden Program. Visit awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're listening to 1010 and you're a parent, chances are your kids are playing sports. Check out i9sports.com with spring and summer registration open right now. In the gym or on the field, and now at Tocoi Creek High School and Westside Middle. Check it out, i9sports.com.
The holidays are just around the corner, and so is your entire family.
Babe, the toilet's growling at me again.
Uh-oh, the kitchen sink just turned into Old Faithful. Ah, there's no hot water!
Don't let plumbing chaos steal your holiday cheer. Call Duck Duck Rooter today to fix those issues before Aunt Linda blames you for ruining Christmas dinner. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Nimnik Chevrolet wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And they hope your holiday season is just terrific. And oh, by the way, the holidays are in full swing at Nimnik Chevrolet. Right now, save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0% on models including Silverado, Equinox, and Trailblazer during the Red Tag Sales event. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With the extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck or SUV at Nimnik. And remember, Nimnik will always give you top dollar for your trade. Want an even better deal? Ask about those terrific demo models for deeper discount. Shop online 24/7 at nimnikchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cassett. So who's got more new vehicles at the absolute best prices? Nobody but Nimnik. Head to Nimnik today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Hacker, we've got RJ Saunders. I am Hayes Carline. Frank and JJ are off. They will be back. JJ will be back tomorrow, and Frank will be back next week. But we've got lots to get to before we hand it off to Rick Ballou at the top of the hour. Hacker, let's talk about Sunday's game. Who do you expect a big performance from in terms of the Jaguars?
Well, because the Tennessee secondary is so bad, and they are very, very bad. As we mentioned earlier, they're down to like their 6th and 7th cornerbacks and their 4th and 5th safeties because of IR and trades and whatnot. I would think it's kind of a pick your poison at the Jaguar passing position. It seems to be somebody new each week, right? Now, Parker Washington has gone back-to-back weeks going over 100 yards, so maybe he has another one. Jacoby Myers as well. But I got to tell you, man, I got a sneaky feeling that Brian Thomas Jr. has a really big game on Sunday.
Love it.
Sneaky feeling. If it doesn't happen, don't remember I said this. If it does happen, save this audio. But I do have a feeling that Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a big game on Sunday.
What do you think defensively? You think they have very little trouble with the Titans? The Titans in the first meeting, again, the Jaguars won 25-3. The Titans had 70 yards on the first drive, kicked a field goal, and then only had 118 yards the rest of the game. Who defensively do you think will be a key for the Jaguars on Sunday that could have a big effort?
I think you got to get after Cam Ward, rattle the rookie a little bit. I mean, if he has time to sit back there, he's proven in the last 4 weeks that he can throw the ball down the field a little bit. Again, they've scored 24 or more points in 4 consecutive games. Their offensive line is playing better than it probably was at the beginning of the year. So I think if you're Trayvon, if you're Hines Allen, the pass rushers, maybe some blitz packages, whomever, Gardeck, name your guy, rattle the rookie a little bit, and he might give you a couple as far as interceptions or fumbles. But again, if you give him time back there, and now he doesn't have the greatest weapons, but he's got weapons enough that have scored 24 or more points in 4 straight games, and you'd hate to have them get into any sort of rhythm. Because I'll say it again, Hayes, if this thing is close, third quarter, dare I say fourth quarter, that stadium, all the pressure is on the Jaguars. The Titans can do whatever they want, can lay back and, air it out or what have you, because they have no pressure on them whatsoever. That's why, to me, it is vital that you jump on these guys early on Sunday.
Particularly if you are seeing the Texans score and they've got a big lead on the Colts.
Right.
And you're not going to get the help that hopefully they won't need. But if you get in a situation like that, it would be nice for the Colts to pull what I think would almost be a mini miracle because of the matchups of the game.
We all want to win the division, right? Obviously. You want to win the division. I do. Everybody listening does. Is there an argument, though, that the 5 seed, at least in Wild Card weekend, is better than the 3 seed? Because Houston, if they don't win the division, they're going to probably end up being at either Baltimore or Pittsburgh on the road, but they'll play Baltimore or Pittsburgh, whereas Jacksonville is potentially staring down a matchup with Buffalo.
It's a great point. I would, look at it this way. I don't think any of the teams, the Bills, Chargers, or Texans, and it does look like it'll probably be the Bills, I don't view that as a game that I'd say the Jaguars are the underdog in. Buffalo has a fantastic quarterback, no doubt about it. He's the reigning MVP. He's also playing at like 70% right now.
Yeah, he looks injured.
I mean, he looks not himself at all. I mean, every time he got hit the other night, he was grabbing the ankle, grimacing, having to limp to the sideline. Obviously, we saw it affect his accuracy. I mean, he just hasn't been the same guy. Now, again, maybe in 10 days, he'll be much healthier.
He'll go get the Superman cape, and he'll turn into Josh Allen again.
But and he's still a really effective player, don't get me wrong, but there is a difference between 100% Josh Allen and injured Josh Allen playing through something. I think you're seeing it with Lamar Jackson as well. So, I mean, obviously, I think you want to be at home. The other thing, too, is I do think you could see some unpredictability in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised in the AFC if the 7 won. So if you're the Jaguars, I think you'd like to be at home, win the division, have the home game, and then hope that, assuming it's New England, Denver would have to lose to a Justin Herbert-less Chargers to lose the 1 seed. But could I see the Chargers going to Foxborough and beating New England? Yeah, just because I would pick New England, but I don't think that they're a juggernaut at all. So if you're the 3 seed and the 2 seed gets knocked out, well, now the Jaguars are hosting in the wild card round and the divisional round, which obviously, I think is something you have to, factor in. So it's a great question. I'd feel confident in either matchup, but would probably rather be at home.
And I was talking to some Bills media, kind of laying some groundwork for next week, and they were, talking about how would the Jaguars feel about a Buffalo matchup, and I asked them how the Bills would feel about a Jaguar matchup, and it was at least hinted to me the idea. Now, they didn't think Sean McDermott would do this, but it was hinted to me the idea that they would feel really comfortable playing New England in the first round, in the wild card round, because they probably should have beat New England twice. They did beat them a couple of weeks ago in Foxborough. Would Buffalo just not play any of their guys this Sunday against the Jets? Because if Buffalo were to lose, odds are they would be the 7 and they would go to New England. And my response was, well, the Jets are playing so bad right now that Mitch Trubisky, who's the Bills' backup, and whoever else, I think, would beat the Jets regardless.
Yeah, Ray Davis, 220 yards on the ground.
I don't know
James Cook has a baseball cap on.
Yeah, I don't know if the Bills could, quote-unquote, throw that game, because I think the Bills' backups are better than the Jets' starters anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, and that's what I think is so fascinating about the AFC race. You can kind of make this argument on the NFC side of things, too. Like, it honestly, there's not a team that I think the Jaguars should fear at all in this thing, which is shocking when you consider the quarterback power that is in the AFC. But the other thing, look at the weapons. Like, yeah, Drake May might win the MVP, but he's never been in the playoffs before. I don't really love their weapons in New England. You look at
particularly with the Stephon Diggs situation.
If Diggs is not available, but even if he is, Denver we just saw. Bo Nix is just not consistent. And if Cortland Sutton is your best weapon, he's a good player, but he's not electric.
No.
And so you just go down the list. The Chargers, they don't have any offensive tackles. It's been their quarterback's been playing with a broken hand for now about a month. You just, as you go down the list, the Bills, we've talked at length about where are the weapons in Buffalo. Keon Coleman is in the doghouse, has been for weeks. He doesn't play.
Outside of Josh Allen, James Cook, and I would sprinkle in Dalton Kincaid when healthy.
Yeah, but he's not healthy now.
Honestly, outside of Jacksonville, the most dangerous team is Houston. Yeah. Because of the defense and because Nico Collins is a stud.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. So, that's the thing that's so strange about this is there just doesn't seem to be a lot of firepower in the AFC playoff picture when you look at it. And again, so it's going to be hard for me to not pick the Jaguars when we see no matter how it shakes out. I would pick the Jaguars to beat any of the other 6 teams. If they were playing tomorrow on a neutral field, I would pick the Jaguars.
Jaguars play either the Chargers or the Bills on Wild Card Weekend. I would feel very confident about the Jaguars winning. If Jacksonville then had to go to Foxborough, you got to factor in elements, all right? It's probably going to be horrific weather up there. January in Foxborough, Massachusetts. It is what it is. But I don't think Jacksonville would be intimidated going in there. They've already gone into San Francisco and won. They've already gone into Denver and won. I think, you look back, 1999 was a huge disappointment because the Jaguars were the overwhelming favorite at 14-2. And the goal there was the Super Bowl. 2005 was the goal of the Super Bowl. They didn't win the division. They knew they'd have to win 3 road games. Same thing in 2007. Now, they won a game in 2007, but they got knocked out in the divisional round. 2017, I don't know if realistically we thought the Super Bowl. Blake Bortles was the quarterback. In 2022, no one thought the Super Bowl because the Jaguars were 9-8 heading into the postseason. I think probably since 1999, this 2025 team might have the most realistic Super Bowl expectations of any Jaguar team that's entered the NFL playoffs.
Well said, and I completely agree. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's switch it back to college football. I want to ask Hacker about Florida State. What is going on with the Seminoles? We'll also talk a little bit about the bowl system, and we'll get it to looking at that quarterfinals that we have in the playoffs. And I think I agree with Hacker. There's not a lot of buzz for this, whether that's the NFL or the matchups or whatever. But we will take an early look. We'll get into it more on tomorrow's edition of the Frangie Show. But let's take a peek. We'll do that next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's December. You need cash. You also need a new Kia Fast. At Kia on Atlantic, you can get both because it's our year-end cash bash. And during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event, make no payments for up to 6 months. Or take advantage of 0% APR. Hurry and get to the year-end cash bash. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Blitz.
How good is that? How good is that?
Bang.
How good is that?
Text Blitz to 641-1010 now.
What NFL quarterback connected on TD passes with 98 different players during his career?
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowners policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Tom Brady threw 105 touchdown passes to Rob Gronkowski, but there are 97 other players who caught at least one.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Want to be an MRN honorary pit reporter? Complete with tickets to the February 12th dual races at Daytona International Speedway and shadow MRN reporters as they do interviews along pit road at the pre-race stage. Text RACE to the 1010XL text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010 for your chance to race to win at K1 Speed Racing Friday, January 9th. Best time wins. Thanks to K1 Speed and the Motor Racing Network.
Hey guys, if you messed up by getting her a robot vacuum cleaner for Christmas, Beard's Diamonds can get you out of the doghouse. Now through New Year's weekend, you can still get that stunning piece of jewelry and save up to 44%. Everything's included: rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, all the gifts women love every day of the year. But hurry, this amazingly popular offer ends January 3rd at 5 p.m. and will not be extended. And if you're planning that New Year's weekend proposal, we've got you covered with a great selection of ready-to-wear diamond rings starting as low as $795. It's been a fantastic year at Beard's, and we're so grateful for your business and your trust. In a sea of mega corporate chain jewelers, we're honored to be the only one that's locally owned in the town center. We are proud to be a part of this amazing community, and you can count on us again in 2026 to deliver the highest quality jewelry at the guaranteed best value, with the service and attention you can only get from an independent jeweler that's been around nearly 45 years. Happy New Year from Beard's Diamonds.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
We've had a fun Frangie show today. We have gotten to all sorts of things, breaking down Sunday's matchup against the Titans. We obviously have many reasons why we feel very confident in the Jaguars getting a 13th win. We talked about Stephon Diggs, some serious charges that the Patriots receiver is dealing with. We'll see if that affects New England in the playoffs. We talked about John Sumrall, a month on the job, how he's doing as the Florida coach, the comings and goings of the portal for the Florida Gators. We talked about Fred Taylor not being a finalist for the Hall of Fame, just a shame. And, hopefully this will be the last year that happens for Fred, and some reasons why it may have happened. But Hacker gave a very impassioned defense of Fred Taylor, and I certainly am right there with him on that. So it's been fun. We've talked about some things around the NFL, Rams losing last night, the future of Joe Burrow, Max Crosby. So we've covered a lot of ground. Hacker, let's talk about Florida State football for a second. Do you see any sort of optimism, any sign there that it can get turned around with Mike Norvell next season? Or do you think it's just headed for another just spectacular disaster?
Well, I don't know about a spectacular disaster, but I think Florida State's going to be in the same situation pretty much next year they are in right now. Now, maybe they get a couple of more wins and get to 6-6 in a bowl game. But if Mike Norvell was too expensive to fire this year, which is what a lot of people will tell you, it was the finances of it. Well, how much of that money comes off after 1 year? So if $55 million is too expensive to fire him, is $47 million going to be too expensive to fire him? I mean, the buyout that they gave that guy is just lunacy, and it'll never happen again with Florida State or probably any other team. The buyouts in general have gone, way, way, way off of where they should. Look, I have nothing against Mike Norvell. Every time I've talked to the man, he's been very courteous with his time to me. I have nothing against him. I just don't think he's a particularly good football coach. I think he's a bad recruiter when it comes to the high school game. I think that he made all of his bread in the portal at Florida State, and good for him. He had two crazy good portal classes that got him at one point to 13-0 and probably should have been in the playoff even after the Jordan Travis injury. But there is not a world, Hayes, where a Florida State team does not win a road football game in 2 years. 2 years, man. And there's also not a world where a Florida State team is 3-12 in their last 15 ACC games where that coach should be around another year. I don't care about finances. So I understand why a majority of Florida State fans are pretty upset he's returning.
Yeah, it's putrid. It's a putrid situation, and I don't think they have a lot of, NIL money. So, I mean, they've got their revenue sharing, and I'm sure they'll put the vast majority of that towards rebuilding the football roster. But, I mean, they've got to go out and get a whole new team because they don't have a great nucleus of high school talent. So it will be very interesting to see what becomes of the Noles. Frank's talked about this on the Frangie show last week and before about the bowl season and maybe changing it. He had a really good suggestion last week. One of our loyal listeners came up to us yesterday at Strings and was talking about that as well, about the Gator Bowl maybe moving to earlier and kind of kicking off the season. Would you like to see something like that? Is it time for the bowl system in college football to go to being more of a early season kickoff event?
The college football playoff has basically killed the bowl games. There were bowl games, like Tennessee, I think, is playing right now. The Tennessee Volunteers are playing right now. Does anybody care?
No,
they don't. I mean, you and I are doing a sports show here, and it's the first time we've made mention. I think Tennessee's playing Illinois, if I'm, but I don't even know. I think that's what's going on. That's what's happened to bowl games. And look, it used to be a reward. I don't know if it's a reward for these kids anymore, man.
They're millionaires.
Yeah, well, there's that, and then you're going to these stadiums that seat 60,000 and there's 15,000 people in there. It's kind of embarrassing to the point where TV cameras are trying not to show you overhead shots because there's nobody in the stands. I just, something needs to be done because the way the bowls are right now is not working.
Let's talk about the quarterfinal matchups in the playoffs. Is there a game that jumps out to you that you believe could be the best one?
I think, Georgia and Ole Miss is interesting, but I think the best one to me is probably Indiana, Alabama. History's a long time, and maybe I'm overstating this. If the Indiana Hoosiers win the national championship. That would mean Indiana went 16-0. Indiana was probably the worst Power 5 football team on planet Earth up until the last couple of years before Curt Cignetti arrived. If they're the first team to ever go 16-0 and win the national championship, which would require, they already beat Oregon, they already beat Ohio State, that would require beating Alabama, then they would have to beat the winner of Oregon, Texas Tech, and then they'd have to beat either Ohio State or Georgia again, more than likely. I mean, would that be the biggest story in the history of college football?
It would be the best story to be made into a movie that's happened in sports in my lifetime.
It'd be unreal.
I mean, I say that. I was born when the Miracle on Ice happened, but I was a child. But I'll say maybe this century, it would be, I don't think there'd even be a close second. In terms of a Cinderella story, they have the worst winning percentage in Division I history. They're the losingest program in Division I history. And this guy shows up, Cignetti, who none of us knew who he was. And he
told us to Google him.
Right, which I needed to.
Right.
And 2 years later, to pull that off, it would be, I can't even quantify how stunning it would be.
I mean, Ohio State would be, what it is. Miami would be what it is. You think all these teams, Georgia's won recently. Texas Tech, although, again, Texas Tech is the best team in America that no one talks about. We'll see what happens with them in Oregon. But I think from a perception standpoint, Indiana, but having said that, they're playing an Alabama team that I'm old enough to remember when they were embarrassed by that bad Florida State team. But Kalen DeBoer, to his credit, man, he's just kept them moving and kept them moving. And even when they lost to Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa, you thought their season was over. They just kept going. And all of a sudden, they find themselves in the quarterfinals. So I just think there's a lot of intrigue to me with that Indiana-Alabama game.
I totally agree. I like Alabama to win. Now, part of that's probably because I'm 49 and Alabama has been pretty much awesome for the vast majority of my life, and Indiana has been dreadful. So I'm probably making that pick more on history than the teams. I'll tell you the game that I have a really good feeling about. I think Miami is going to kill Ohio State.
Do you?
Kill Ohio State.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I like the Canes to win that game by at least 17 points.
And from just a local point of view and maybe a selfish point of view, I would love to see Miami and Georgia for the Carson Beck factor in the national semifinal.
I think Georgia kills Ole Miss. I don't think that one's going to be particularly close. Do you?
No, I think Georgia wins that game as well. And I would love to see it. In the era of the transfer portal, have we seen a name like Carson Beck play against his team in a game that would be like in the national semifinal?
I can't think of it.
I can't either. And that would get all the talk, which would be kind of unfortunate. It would be like the Carson Beck Bowl. But Miami, Georgia, Beck going up against his former team in the Final Four for a right to go to the national title game, that would be as juicy as you could ask for.
Yeah, the ratings on that one I would think would be sky high for the college football playoff. So be exciting. And as you mentioned, that game is tomorrow night.
Yeah, Ohio State Miami's tomorrow night.
Isn't that amazing? That one's in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. So.
I don't know if Terry Porter will be officiating that game. 23 years in the making, the rematch.
Somebody had to, if he's still alive, somebody had to reach out to him this week.
I'm
right?
willing to bet it wasn't a Miami fan.
Well, but what these national right? Don't you think somebody probably did their best? The poor man, he may have passed on years ago. I have no idea.
Right.
But if he's still alive, what a story!
Be a great story.
If you could get him on the record.
He only threw the flag about 5 minutes after the play was over.
Yeah, one of the worst calls ever in college football history, no doubt about it. When we come back on the Frangie Show, one segment to go before we get you into the night with Rick Ballou. But Hacker will tell us what he has coming up on Hacker After Dark. There's an important birthday in golf we're going to mention. Hacker will give us a thought about the Orlando Magic. So lots to get to. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There are 4 games left in the college football playoff as it heads into the quarterfinals. Ohio State will play Miami in the Cotton Bowl, are the betting favorite to repeat as national champions. The Buckeyes are plus 190. Indiana is the number 1 overall seed at 13-0. They feature Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza. They'll face Alabama in the Rose Bowl on Thursday. The Hoosiers plus 310 to claim the national title. Georgia won the SEC championship. They'll beat Ole Miss at the Sugar Bowl. The Bulldogs plus 500 to win it all. Oregon, who will play Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, are plus 700 to win the national championship. Texas Tech is at plus 900.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
In Northeast Florida, power outages are unavoidable, but losing comfort, security, and peace of mind doesn't have to be. With a Generac home standby generator from American Electrical Contractors, your power comes back on automatically the moment an outage begins. As Jacksonville's leading and one of the longest-running Generac dealers, American Electrical Contracting has the experience you deserve. Be prepared. Protect your home and family. Protect your business. Generac standby generators from American Electrical Contractors. Call 737-7770 or online at american-electrical.com.
This bowl season, upgrade your game plan with a visit to Burlock & Barrel, Duval's first distillery dedicated solely to whiskey, right in the Brooklyn Riverside neighborhood. Stop in to see how we turn local grains into small batch whiskey, earning awards at every competition. Book a tour, settle in for a tasting, or escape the scoreboard for a bit at our full whiskey bar. Whether your team's winning or character building, at least your whiskey can be solid. At Burlock & Barrel in Riverside or burlockandbarrel.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Just recently, Cam Little was good from 68 yards to set an NFL field goal record. You know who else goes the distance? The team at Coil Fencing. Coil is A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau and has been serving the Jacksonville community for nearly 100 years. From sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love to tough chain link for your commercial project. Coil does it all. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. Now, I've been telling you about my daughter Amber, and she's been telling you how much weight she's dropped with Awaken 180. It's hard to believe. Even in football season, even when she hangs out with her friends, and even when she tailgates and does all that stuff, she's still losing weight. You can even drink alcohol. Can you believe that? Well, Awaken 180 shows you how to swap calories, not flavor. You have to be disciplined, but they make it easy. Amber and I talk about this all the time. She can't believe how easy it is, and she's so excited about it. But what I will tell you is it's really working. I see how excited she is. I see the look on her face. I see how her self-esteem has changed and her confidence. It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened with my daughter, and it means that much to me. Now, Awaken 180 programs are reimbursable with your HSA or FSA, and those HSA dollars expire December 31st. Don't leave money on the table. Call Awaken 180 today and kickstart your transformation before the new year. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. There's this great Will Ferrell moment in SNL that if you get a chance, go watch. So this is Queens of the Stone Age. So they were the musical guest on a Saturday Night Live where Will Ferrell had come back as host. and you hear the cowbell in this song.
Yeah.
So he comes on stage as the cowbell character.
Nice.
And they said in rehearsals, like the lead singer of Queens of the Stone Age couldn't like keep it together. Like he kept cracking up. And so they had to tell him, like, look, just view Will as if he's like a serious musician doing this. But if anyway, it's a great video. So go check it out if you've never seen it. Great song as well. Well done, RJ. Lots to get to in our last segment here. So just quick, Florida basketball, they beat Dartmouth last night, but got outscored in the second half. They still won by 22. Kind of a familiar refrain for Todd Golden. Hard to complain about a 22-point win, but we need to be playing better.
Yeah, and look, the non-conference for Florida, you were never going to feel good about anything that transpired against Colgate or St. Francis or Dartmouth because you lost those 4 heartbreakers. Now you can say glass half full. Well, Duke at Cameron Indoor and UConn at Madison Square Garden and Arizona in Las Vegas. You were in each one of those games with 30 seconds to go, but you lost each one of those games. You kind of feel, I don't know what's the word, dirty a little bit in the Gator non-conference. They're 9-4, and conference play begins on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing Missouri, 8:30 Saturday night on the SEC Network. Everything kind of sneaks up on you when the Jaguars are good.
It's amazing.
Right? It is.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, there's college football playoff tomorrow night. Right. SEC basketball begins on Saturday. But, I mean, they're playing well, but Missouri is going to be a nice test to open up conference play on Saturday.
Without a doubt. Big birthday in golf today. Tiger Woods is 50 years old. Wow. Is that not incredible?
It is incredible.
Do you remember, I'm older than you by a pretty good bit, so I remember golf before Tiger Woods. Is Tiger Woods been an icon of the sport ever since you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, my first memory, not first memory, but my initial thoughts on golf, probably more in the 94, 95, 96 range.
So right as he was.
So, yeah, when was the Masters? 97 that he won?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, obviously, I watched that. That was incredible.
Right.
But, yeah, I vaguely remember stuff pre-Tiger. I mean, I'm 42. I was born in 83. So, yeah, right about the time Tiger came in, I turned 11, 12 years old. That's really when I started watching.
What do you have coming up on Hacker After Dark?
Yeah, D-Rock. Mike DeRocco, ESPN.com, is going to join me. We're going to certainly talk a lot about this matchup on Sunday. D-Rock's always great when he comes on. So that'll be right in the 8 o'clock hour tonight.
Sounds great. Let's now do this.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
I know Rick Ballou has been in his lab. He's been breaking down Sunday's matchup. Rick, when you look at the Titans, anything that pops to your mind in terms of a concern?
No. They're an improved team the last month, but no. Jacksonville's a better football team. They're a better coach team. And 12th man. The crowd. Intense. It's a 2-week stay. Let me give you a little bit of advice. What is it, Tuesday? Head there now, and you'll be able to get in your seats by 1 o'clock.
That's right.
But I think the crowd is going to be fantastic this weekend, and I think the crowd's going to be even better next weekend. I love the fans. I don't ever want to say anything negative about the fans, but I don't know about you guys, but I've already gotten 2. Hey, man. Do you have any tickets for the playoff game next week? First of all, don't ever think of contacting me for tickets if you're not going to this weekend's game. You got to go to them all. You can't just be a glory cut guy, let everyone else cut down the tree, then you grab the golden axe and slice it up, and the tree falls. So I've already had people ask me, I hope they want to go to the game this weekend. That's what should be most important.
Absolutely. What do you think Miami-Ohio State? What kind of game do you think we'll see there?
Ohio State, far too much talent.
Yeah.
And again, I still think Mario Cristobal at times leaves you wondering a little bit about the type of game that he's calling. The only way that they can win is if they can really establish the run with Mark Fletcher. He was out. He missed like 3 games, came back last week or, first round of the playoffs, had a really good game. And obviously Malachi, Tony, is just absolutely fantastic. And Carson Beck is tournament tested. But, I just think Ohio State, top to bottom, way too much talent. But it's going to be a fun game tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. What's coming up?
We got all that tonight. We got a ton on the Jags tonight. We got some college football. Got a couple of other wrinkles I'm going to throw out there as well. So fired up for the next 2 hours.
Awesome. We'll be listening. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hacker, thank you so much for sitting in again. Certainly appreciate it. And certainly you'll have a show again tonight because you're an Iron Man. You're always have a microphone in front of you. RJ, great job. Thank you so much. That's going to do it for us. Into the Night with Rick Ballou is up next. For Frank Frangie, for JJ LaSelva, I am Hayes Carline. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.